following is a production of DallasCowboys.com and the Dallas Cowboys Football Club.
How about them Cowboys?
This is Mick Shots, streaming live on DallasCowboys.com and the official Dallas Cowboys app. Now, here are Bill Jones, Everson Walls, and Mickey Spagnola.
And oh, what a fabulous football Friday it is as we get you set for a big football weekend in the Metroplex. It's the Cowboys and the New York Football Giants. 3:25 kickoff on Sunday afternoon. Mickey Spagnola's in the SWBC Mortgage Studio at Ford Center at the Star in Frisco. Hello, Mickey.
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing just fine. Everson Walls is in his usual spot with his picture behind him in the SWBC Mortgage Everson Walls studio, and he's got Cowboys gear on as well as he is.
Winning time, baby. Winning time.
There you go. It's his winning time Cowboys gear. And Jerry wonders why you didn't start wearing that the first week of the season. Here on Mick Shots.
Well, first of all, let me say, I have a complaint.
Oh, no.
There's Mick Shots and there's Mick Shots. Mick Shots is alcohol. Mick Shots is a show. So, they need to announce it Mick Shots, not Mick Shots, because I can make up some Mick Shots right here. I got stuff to make up Mick Shots. But we need to clarify that Mick Shots. Well, that means he's going for it.
See, now you would be,
and there are some
really big time if you had Mickey's beer, if you remember that.
Oh, yeah. That's old school. Oh, my God. How old school is that? They don't even make that anymore.
The bottles were wide mouth, and it was just the most disgusting beer ever.
They were. It was green. Didn't they have a green bottle or something like that?
But I have a bottle. I have a bottle.
Too bad that I know about that stuff.
And there are some who are wondering if Everson has already imbibed in some of that Mick Shot. All right, I got my OU gear on.
I see it.
Okay, I decided to go with my national championship cap as it is what we call OU Texas weekend, what Derek Eagleton calls Texas OU weekend. Mm-hmm. And it's been 20 years. This cap is 20 years old. It's been 20 years since we had a team good enough to win a national championship. And but this is always my favorite weekend of the year. However, it's so different this year. There's only going to be 25,000 fans, all wearing masks, hopefully, at the Cotton Bowl at 11 a.m. Tomorrow. And Texas has its best shot in a while to beat an unranked Oklahoma team tomorrow.
But Bill, something was missing. You didn't have us warm up the field for you from the SWAC. Usually you have the Grambling Prairie View game.
That's right.
Southwest Classic didn't have it this year. It's going to be a little incomplete. You guys fed off of that at OU Texas. It's going to be a lot more missing than what you just mentioned. A whole lot more missing.
That's right. There's no state fair. There's no
state fair.
Grambling Prairie View game.
Man.
There's no nothing. And I did have my press pass FedExed. It was on my doorstep this morning, and I don't think I'm going to go. I don't know.
Yeah, that's a good move. That's a good move, Bill. Yeah. That's a good move.
I mean, it doesn't even feel like OU Texas, does it?
No, not at all.
Okay, I have one question.
Even if the teams, you've had a bunch of well, let's wait till tonight. We'll see how many arrests they have in the streets downtown, and then we'll go from there.
I have one question, and we'll move on. I want to know, Bill, when you grew up, either in high school or in college, would I have found you going down Main Street, cavorting till midnight at night, drinking and screaming and yelling?
That is a story, Mickey. That is a story I forgot to tell you ahead of time. Do not mention that on the air. anything about Commerce Street, especially my freshman year in college. Okay,
He could
I'll
lose
just
his
leave
job,
it at that.
Spags.
I'll just leave it at that. That's a story that I don't want my daughters to learn about.
I think
okay?
I know the story, so you're good. All right.
Fair enough, Bill. Fair enough, Bill. Fair enough.
I will say this, and this will get us into the Cowboys, because there's so many fans out there who, and I've been a Cowboys fan since the day I was born. Ever since you were growing up in
Same here.
Hamilton Park, you were a Cowboys fan forever,
That's right.
Okay.
We're right down the street.
It's just something about your football team and sports in general that it unites a family, it unites a community, and so forth. And that's what I love about this Texas OU or OU Texas weekend. It's a rivalry, yes, but it's the Texas. It is the one weekend Texas football fans point to every year. Oklahoma football fans point to every year. Cowboys fans point to it every Sunday during an NFL season. And I guess got one little personal story to tell you about the Oklahoma-Texas. My dad grew up in Oklahoma, Okima, Oklahoma, or just down the road from Troy Aikman's hometown of Henrietta, Oklahoma. And so he's a huge OU fan. That's how I became an OU fan. My last memory of my father in 2003 was an OU Texas weekend. OU happened to win the game 65-13 over Vince Young in Texas that year. But we went to Humperdinck's after the game, and he was. I knew he was in his final days, whatever. The last words I heard my father say as we left the restaurant that night was, I just had me a Longhorn steak. He passed away a week or so later. And but anyway, it's those kinds of memories that makes sports special when your family and your friends and anyway, I just pass that along to start things off with.
Good stuff, Bill. Good stuff, buddy.
I think Texas has a great opportunity to win the game this year, but it's more than that. It's more about who wins and loses the game. That's what sports brings us together, and I think we appreciate it even more here during this pandemic.
Yes,
and
that's
without
correct.
having sports over the last 6 months.
I agree.
All right.
I agree.
All right.
Now let's get to the news of the day, and it is huge news because as we told you yesterday during Mick Shots, things were going on with Tyron Smith, as that's when reports first started surfacing that he was getting a second opinion on his neck, and sure enough, he has decided to have a season-ending surgery. And so, Mickey, fill us in on what you know about it.
Well, I don't know this officially, but since it had been called a pinched nerve, the only thing that pinches a nerve in your neck if you have a bulging disc. And I would imagine he's having similar surgery to what Leighton Vander Esch had. And I don't want to. And I remember back when he had his, people were calling it, he had minor neck surgery. There ain't nothing minor about having surgery on your neck, right? Because they're doing something close to your vertebrae, which is close to your spinal cord. So, it sounds like they tried to do everything they could. And normally that's what happens. Surgery is always the last resort, and it looked like that this couldn't be corrected unless they had surgery. Mike McCarthy sort of made that announcement this morning, and then but he said it's correctable, and you got the feeling that this isn't a career-threatening surgery. It's something to relieve the pressure he was having on his spinal cord. So. You hope it's successful, and that it seems like Tyron Smith has been here forever, right? He's in his 10th year, but he's only 29. He turns 30 in December, and so he's got years ahead of him, and this will be the longest span of games he misses, because normally it's been -3 in each of the last, I think, 3 or 4 years. But he's always come back. And think about this. Somehow, some way, he played 82 snaps on Sunday. And this thing didn't go away, right? It didn't just go away. But I would imagine playing that many snaps, and as we talked about, giving Olivier Vernon hell for 82 snaps, it flared up in the week, and he decided this is what has to happen. So The Cowboys go into this game without their 2 starting offensive tackles, without their 2 starting centers, if we go back to March when Travis Frederick, or April, when he announced that he was going to retire, and Joe Looney is still out. And on top of that, their guy that they considered their 3rd offensive tackle, Cam Irving, just gets back into a little bit of practice this week. I don't know that he's ready to go even in a reserve role. So we can spend half this show trying to figure out exactly what they're going to do that neither Mike McCarthy nor Jerry Jones wanted to reveal on how they're going to handle the offensive tackle position and how they're going to handle the backup center position. So we can throw out our ideas, and none of them will be like absolutely wrong until probably we know for sure on Sunday. I don't think, Bill, we can hear Everson.
I guess we've lost Everson on a live transmission from the SWBC Mortgage Everson Walls studio. So, Mickey, I think to echo what I think Everson was about to say, it shows you how valuable that Tyron Smith has been to this team through the years. And really, it's a team is fortunate when it's able to keep their offensive line intact. I think if you go through all the rosters, all the depth charts across the National Football League, and the teams that have healthy offensive lines are typically the teams that are doing well right now, okay? Now, there is a team in Philadelphia that has as many offensive line injury issues as the Cowboys have, and they're sitting there, I guess, technically in first place in the NFC East. And I guess the good news for the Cowboys is they're also playing a team on Sunday, the Giants, that had their left tackle opt out, and so they've got some weakness at the tackle position themselves. But I think we got Everson back now. So, Everson, go ahead and tell us what you were saying before.
Before my phone starts screwing up again, I just say that I think Tyron has been the best offensive lineman on this team for the past 10 years. I've heard people say things about how smart Zach Martin is, about Fredericks and all of these players that we brought in, because we brought in a host of studs on our offensive line, which really made us, it's caused a culture in Dallas because of those 3 guys that I just named. But to me, Tyron was always the most important, the best athlete, and I think the most critical to this offensive line. Whenever he's out, we just don't do well. That's just the way it is. And those other guys can miss, and we can kind of cover up for them. But you have to be very athletic to be on that left end, and especially the blind side of the quarterback. So having him have Dak's back all this time, I think has been amazing, and we've been fortunate as Cowboy fans to have that luxury. It's almost like another Rayfield Wright for Roger Staubach. Rayfield Wright rarely gave up sacks to Roger. And as far as Tyron Smith is concerned, compared to all other tackles that have come along in the last 10 years, to me, he's been the best and the best offensive lineman the Cowboys have ever had. I hope he comes back well. I hope this injury is just like Van Der Esch's to where he can come back. But otherwise, you heard me talk yesterday about how concerned I am just about his well-being as a person, and that still stands as well.
You know, Everson, he might have been the best offensive lineman in the league, not just with the Cowboys. I would love to put Olivier Vernon on a lie detector test and ask him, okay, how good was Tyron Smith this past Sunday? But yeah, he's been, and that's why.
Why would you have to put him on a lie detector test?
Because he might lie about it, and say, well, nah, he's okay. I want him to tell the truth. But and so to maybe put this all in proper perspective, this morning when Jerry was doing his segment on 105.3 The Fan, they asked him about his biggest concerns, and the Cowboys have enough concerns going into this game. And he goes, of all the concerns I have, it's the offensive line. And ain't that the truth? Because if your offensive line ain't functioning, as an offense, you're not functioning. And that offense has been the Cowboys' bread and butter. Even though they're 1-3, it's at least kept them in every game they've played. And now, if that offensive line can't function because the offense can't function because of the offensive line, boy, this team's going to be hard pressed to rely on a defense that hasn't been reliable in the last 3 weeks.
You know, think back to the draft when Tyron Smith came out. He was the 8th pick in the draft out of USC in 2011. Who was the next pick after Tyron Smith? It was J.J. Watt.
Ah.
And this is how highly I think of Tyron Smith. J.J. Watt has been an NFL Defensive Player of the Year 3 times in his career. If I had that pick to do over for the Cowboys in 2011, I'd still take Tyron Smith ahead of J.J. Watt. I think that's how important he has been to this Cowboys franchise the last decade.
And not just important from the position he plays, important from the fact that this offensive line was a mess at that time. And Jason Garrett basically put his hand down, put his fist down and said, we've got to rebuild this offensive line. We can't do anything. We can't protect Tony Romo. Doesn't matter what running back we have if we can't protect the offensive line. And he was the first building block of this offensive line. And I could remember what the Cowboys were playing with back then at center and at guard. And on running plays, they were getting their guards and centers pushed back into them 2 or 3 yards. Not pass protection, running plays, right? You know, God bless Phil Costa, you know, but geez, you know what I mean? And they were bringing. Remember, they were bringing guys in, and the next week another guy would start at guard, and it was a mess. And that's why they made a concerted effort. After him, Travis Frederick. After him, Zach Martin. And look how that line flourished. In the coming years. Took a chance on Mark Colombo coming back from his injuries, and they had an offensive line, and that's why this team's offense had success. It wasn't just the skilled players. That offensive line caused this, and now you're sitting here going,
yes.
Oh, you're gritting your teeth, and we're going to tease what they're going to do next.
Mickey, let me clarify. Tyron was the ninth pick of the draft in 2011.
I was going to let you go on that. It was only one spot.
Yeah, he was. All right, but I need to clarify further. J.J. Watt was not picked right after Tyron. He was picked 11th. There was one player picked in between Tyron Smith and J.J. Watt, and Mickey, you should know who this player was at number 10 in the draft that year in 2011.
You got
a quarterback. A quarterback from Missouri, Blaine Gabbert.
Blaine Gabbert, yes.
So actually, okay, how about this? The number 7 pick in that draft was Aldon Smith to San Francisco. The 8th pick was Jake Locker to Tennessee. The 9th pick was Tyron Smith to Dallas. The 10th pick was Blaine Gabbert to Jacksonville. And the 11th pick was J.J. Watt to Houston. So there you go.
Blaine still backing up somewhere, isn't he?
He's something like that.
White quarterbacks are always backing up somebody somewhere. So yeah, I'm sure Blaine is.
All right.
I'm sure he is.
And who was the number 1 pick that year? He's
holding someone's clipboard somewhere.
All right, and the number 1 pick that year was Cam Newton to the Carolina Panthers.
Wow.
Followed by Von Miller to Denver. Marcel Darius to Buffalo, A.J. Green, 4th to Cincinnati, Patrick Peterson, 5th to Arizona, Julio Jones, 6th to Atlanta. Wow.
What a draft.
What a draft that was.
Oh,
all
my
right,
God.
We continue with more Mick shots in just a moment.
Hey there, Cowboys fans. With Tide Cleaners at-home pickup and delivery, Cleaning your clothes has never been more convenient. Simply sign up at your local store, set out your dirty clothes, and one of our Tide Cleaners professionals will come directly to your home for a totally contactless experience. Your clean garments will be returned promptly the next scheduled delivery day, so skip the errand and enjoy life, not laundry. Visit TideCleaners.com or your local store to sign up for Tide Cleaners at home pickup and delivery today.
Make the most of summer with Ford, America's best-selling brand, during the Ford Summer Sales Event. With great offers on a huge selection of Ford SUVs and the largest selection of truck inventory to choose from. Get huge offers across the Ford lineup. So grab the family and head out. Ford's helping you make the most out of summer. It's easier now during the Ford Summer Sales Event. Based on 2019 calendar year total sales. Based on Autodata compact and full-size stock inventory as of June 2020.
Want to use what the pros use? How about the official men's skincare brand of the Dallas Cowboys, Jack Black? Right now you can get the Jack Black Starter, a curated collection of Cowboys locker room favorites for just $10 with free shipping. The starter includes 4 Jack Black skincare favorites plus a full-sized intense therapy lip balm. Go to getjackblack.com/Cowboys and use the code word TEAMJB. That's getjackblack.com/Cowboys. The Jack Black Starter, $10, free shipping.
I'm Jay Novacek, former tight end for the Dallas Cowboys. Back in the day, I was the guy who always got the tough yards, and that's why I run with John Deere today. In fact, I have a John Deere 3025E tractor that can handle any yard work I need to do, even the tough yards way out back. So if you have 1 acre or 1,000, John Deere has the equipment that's just right for you. Visit a John Deere dealer today and run with us. We are the official tractor provider of your Dallas Cowboys.
Back to Mick Shots.
Cowboys fans, have you picked up new gear like Everson Walls has for the 2020 season? All new styles are arriving now. Visit your local Dallas Cowboys Pro Shop or shop.dallascowboys.com for the newest arrivals.
Bill.
Someone needs to do some editing on that wording, I'll tell you that.
There you go, Bill. You got it.
It is, or go to dallascowboys.com/shop, right? Is that right, Mickey?
I was wondering if the shop was before Dallas Cowboys. Like it was a double.
Or I think maybe it's supposed to say or shop DallasCowboys.com.
Yeah, or right?
At DallasCowboys.com.
Yeah.
Yeah, there you go. All right.
I never thought I'd miss the Jack Black promo.
Yeah, exactly.
Hey, I used my Jack Black this morning too, by the way.
All right, very good. All right, Mickey, what else do you know injury-wise for this big matchup with the 0-4 Giants?
Yeah, I don't know if anything else really matters. It sounded like Dorrance Armstrong and Tyrone Crawford moved into a limited situation yesterday. So it looks like Mike McCarthy said he felt good about their potential to play on Sunday. So that's a good thing. And then we'll see what happens to the guys that are on injured reserve still, but started their 21-day deal. It looks like Anthony Brown should be ready to go on Sunday, which will give them another starting quality cornerback. We'll see about Cam Irving. Cam Fleming will be starting for the Giants. Cam Irving, I'm not sure how much he's been able to do in practice, and they didn't have to give injury reports on those guys since they're not on the roster yet. So other than that, DeMarcus Lawrence has practiced both days. I know the knee's still bothering him, but at least he got out there and practiced, so that's a really good sign. And they just got to kind of cross their fingers until next Sunday. Chidobe Awuzie is eligible to come off of injured reserve.
Okay, let me throw this out at you. What do you think Jason Garrett, the Giants offensive coordinator, what do you think his game plan will be against this Cowboys defense?
Run the ball. Devontae Freeman, he last week was kind of a warm-up game for him. They just signed him. I bet they feed him. And they're going to see if the Cowboys have fixed their problems on that defensive front to run the ball. So, yeah, and then I think if they can do it a little bit, then he'll take shots down the field, big shots down the field, because those are, to me, for a young quarterback, those are the easiest balls to throw, right? And if it goes wrong and it's an interception, at least you've thrown it 30 yards, 40 yards or whatever. And, you know, assuming you can make a tackle, it doesn't hurt you that bad. The passes that rookies have trouble with is throwing the ball over the middle where there's traffic, or throwing that out quick enough and that you've got a strong enough arm to throw a 17-yard out. Those are the problems rookie quarterbacks or young quarterbacks normally have. So I think he follows that. He'll use 2 tight ends if he's got a fullback.
Yes.
And he does have one, Eli Penny. He's going to come heavy and come at the Cowboys. And that would be a way for him to shorten the game and try to take time off the clock so the Cowboys' offense doesn't get on the field. Now, if the Cowboys are having problems with whatever they do at the tackle position, he may want them on the field, because that might be the quickest way to shorten the field for his offense, is getting takeaways, which is what Mike McCarthy, I believe, his 3 keys to the game. Number 1 was, you know, no more turnovers. Number 2, make sure you're strong against the run, and then I think number 3 was make sure you're protecting the quarterback. So if I had to do keys to the game, I'm going to take his word for it.
Oh, we lost Everson.
It's
sounds like
overheating.
Mickey, I think the interesting thing is when you look at the Cowboys' first 4 games and the opponents they went up against, the Rams ran a lot of 11 personnel. Okay, I think if you go back and look at it, at roughly 75 plays they ran on offense, the Cowboys were in the nickel on 55 out of 75 plays, their nickel defense. Atlanta was the same percentage, basically. Seattle, Jordan Lewis got over 70 snaps in that Seattle game. Seattle was almost exclusively 11 personnel throughout that game. But then when you look at last week against Cleveland, the Browns ran a lot of 2 tight end stuff. I think Jordan Lewis, I don't have it in front of me, but his snap count was around 20 or so in that game, which tells you right there, even without even looking at the coach's film, you can tell that the Cowboys are in their base defense a lot. And I think that the Giants are going to go to school on what the Browns did. So Mark Colombo, the offensive line coach, is looking at how Bill Callahan did, or what he did with his offensive line against this Cowboys front. And so the Cowboys, in their base defense, have to prove that they have adapted to this scheme, and they aren't square pegs being fit into round holes, so to speak.
What do you
think?
Jordan Lewis had 22 snaps, 29% of the plays. So yeah, you're exactly right.
There you go.
And that's what they're going to do. And you're right. And and the Cowboys really hadn't employed any sort of base defense. And we talked about it going into the game, that if they went to a 4-3, they don't have a legitimate strong side linebacker, and they tried to do it with Dorrance Armstrong and Aldon Smith. I'm not sure how well that worked out. And then they also tried to change up and play a 3-4, but again, they don't have the defensive ends as part of the 3 to play inside that are big enough to hold down the fort in there. They just don't have the personnel to do that. So be interesting to see if they change up on that 4-3, if they have to go to it, and maybe put Gifford out there. I don't know. Try
think so
something
too.
Different, right? You can't keep doing the same thing and think you're going to get different results. So,
I'd love to see that. And plus in a 4-3, then you can limit the number of snaps, or you can get Dontari Poe, Tristan Hill into the number of snaps that they need to be having in a game, which is half of what they had against Cleveland last week. And I think Gifford would be the option there as the Sam linebacker in a 4-3 defense. Now the issue is he really hadn't played an NFL game to speak of as far as on defense goes. He's been special teams, but I think it's going to be interesting to see what the Cowboys do. The other thing about it is, obviously the run defense was horrible last week. DeMarcus Lawrence, I think, even though he's got limited snaps because he's dealing with an injury, he is setting the edge better than any of the other defensive ends are.
True. And he's playing the run. As you mentioned,
right, that's what I mean.
You're playing the run, and he's even playing the run from the backside, coming in to make sure there's not that back cut. If the guy going to the Cowboys' right tries to come back left, they're coming right back into him. So I know everybody looks at sacks, but there's more to this game than sacks, and I think sometimes I don't know if the guys start looking at that type of stuff. Well, I got to get sacks, because they know you get paid for sacks, right? Well, you're not going to get a chance to rush the quarterback if, indeed, you aren't stopping the run. And as a matter of fact, when I was telling you McCarthy's 3 keys, the second one, I missed it. Need to apply pressure on the quarterback. And so you earn the right to do that if you stop the run. If you can't stop the run, Jason Garrett will play action you to death.
I'll tell you what, Spags, I really enjoyed your preview. It sounded just like Bill Belichick. You are amazing, sir.
Might be the greatest compliment I've ever had.
Man, you are amazing. No, but really, as we sit here, we always talk about TV pundits and radio pundits. Well, here we are. We sit here, we watch the games, we try and come up with the best ways for the Cowboys to win. All the Cowboys have to remember is what happened last week. How good is your memory? Because that's what the Giants are going to check. They're going to see if you remembered or have you improved from last week? Did you get into practice, and did you remedy the problem? Because it's going to come at you again over and over. You're going to see runs. You're going to see reverses. You're going to see reverse pass. You're going to see Golden Tate using all of his athletic ability. I told you yesterday, he might be in the Wildcat. They're going to do everything that they can do to help this team win. Because New York, we think we're having problems here. New York is off the hook chain having problems. So we know that at this point we have the advantage in regards to personnel, in regards to even injuries and talent. So what they're going to try and realize in New York is, how can we keep them off guard? How can we keep the offense off the field? And they can only do that by having that slow game plan that you talked about, Spags. Running the ball, keeping the ball out of our hands is just like trying to keep a fast break team from fast breaking on you all the time, layup after layup. You're going to have to do something to make them do it differently. So that's what the Giants, that's their only hope. That's their only hope at this point. And of course, with Tyron being out, they smell just a little bit of fear from the Cowboys in regards to the doubt that they might have in their game plan. Just a little bit.
All right. Mike McCarthy said something also today and earlier this week about balance in his offense. That plus our picks to click when Mick Shots continues in a moment.
Hey there, Cowboys fans. With Tide Cleaners at-home pickup and delivery, cleaning your clothes has never been more convenient. Simply sign up at your local store, set out your dirty clothes, and one of our Tide Cleaners professionals will come directly to your home for a totally contactless experience. Your clean garments will be returned promptly the next scheduled delivery day, so skip the errand and enjoy life, not laundry. Visit TideCleaners.com or your local store to sign up for Tide Cleaners at-home pickup and delivery today.
Since 1865, Stetson hats are American-made with pride right here in Texas. And Stetson is proud to be on the field with America's team. Want to show your Texas and team pride too? You can. By purchasing your own Stetson, you can look just like how the flag guys do on field at every home game. Stetson hats, the official crown of all self-respecting Cowboys and your favorite football team.
Get yours today at shop.dallascowboys.com or at stetson.com.
What do you call a group of grown men and women who get together every week proudly wearing the star to share a 3-hour-long ritual of cheering, shouting at the TV, and raising their Miller Lite together while yelling, "How about them boys?" You call it Miller Time and Cowboys Nation. Here's to the only beer of the Cowboys celebrating 60 years of greatness. Here's to the original light beer. It's Miller Time. Celebrate responsibly. 2020 Miller Brewing Company, Fort Worth, Texas.
Hey, Cowboys fans, ready to spice up your next watch party? Bring Yo Quiero guacamole and be the game day hero. Yo Quiero means I want, and we know you want great, fresh-tasting, ready-to-serve guacamole for your home gating and tailgating events. Made with real avocados and the perfect blend of spices, it will be the star of any party. You can find us at your local Albertsons or Tom Thumb in the deli section. If you can't find it, talk to your store manager and tell them, Yo Quiero guacamole. Back to Mick Shots.
I don't know why that makes me laugh so much, but in case you need some energy, bring some Cowboys game day energy from the Dallas Cowboys Rhythm and Blue dancers or drumline to your next virtual or in-person event. For appearance and performance details, visit dallascowboys.com/DCRB. And don't you forget that.
All right, Mickey, I need some contingency plans for this Cowboys team now that we know that they are without starting offensive tackles Tyron Smith and Lyle Collins for the rest of the season. Not just for Sunday, but even going forward the rest of the year. What are the contingency plans?
Well, I think there's probably a combination of 4 players they're looking at. You know, we've seen what they've done previously without Lyle Collins and Tyron Smith in the game. And I just lost my sound, by the way.
We can still hear you.
But anyway, they had lined up Brandon Knight on the left tackle, and then Terrence Steele at right tackle. Now that didn't work out so well the last time, and so they ended up moving in Seattle game Zach Martin to right tackle, but they moved Looney to guard. Well, they don't have Looney to do that anymore, and Biadasz as the center. So I bet they're leaning somewhat towards that, but if it's not Knight left, Steele right, then their only other alternative at the right side, to me, Greg Sinat, they just signed him off Cleveland's practice squad, so at least he's been practicing, he's been working. He should be in somewhat shape if they consider that potential. Also, Jordan Mills, the veteran, again, but, they picked him up right at the beginning of the season. And so I don't know what kind of shape he's in or if he's ready to play. He was coming back from a knee problem last year. He had knee surgery, I think, at the end of the previous year. But he's got the most experience of any of those guys if he can do something. So not sure that he's worked in as much, but it'll be interesting to see where they go on the right side. I just think that they're hesitant to put Zach Martin out there. But as I said yesterday, you guys, this is what it comes down to. Can Connor McGovern play guard better than somebody can play right tackle? Because if he can, then you can move Zach out there if you trust the guy in the middle. But you know that if you get pressure up the middle, that's curtains, right? The quarterback should be able to see what's coming from the right side, and you should be able to game plan that with a tight end. You can't game plan a guard or if a center's having problems. I'm not worried about Biadasz, but I would be worried about McGovern going there because he would be the next guy. He hadn't played a snap in the NFL, not on the offensive line. So that one would be kind of concerning. And I know everybody thinks, well, just move him out there, Zach Martin. Well, okay, but who's going to play guard? And I think that's what it's going to come down to, dealing with Zach Martin. Brandon Knight, I think, has done okay. People have played with worse at left tackle than Brandon Knight. The right side's what concerns me.
We worry about the tackle when it comes to the pass. But if we want to control a ball game, then we need to have our guards steady in the middle, because the running game is really what makes this team win. So you're right, Spags. We need that guard position to be solid so that Zeke can be the one that controls the pace of this ball game.
You know, and you look at the Giants' defense. The one thing that I had teased, first off, Mickey, tell us about Marcus Henry as far as backup center possibility.
And the Cowboys do need a backup center, and I don't know that anybody that we've talked about has really put their hand on the ball. Everybody says, well, Connor McGovern did it in college. Well, that was 2017. Okay, this is 2020. I don't know how much he's worked on that, and he certainly hasn't done it in a game. Everybody says, well, Connor Williams, he said he'd do it. Well, yeah, okay, and maybe he's done it in practice. He hadn't done it in a game either. And now Cam Irving has, but I don't know that he's ready to go. So if that's the case, then you might have to sign Marcus Henry off the practice squad for this game day. The way they've done, you're allowed to do that with 2 guys off the practice squad. I believe it's just 2. But at least during training camp, he started off as the backup center until Biotish overtook him. But he was getting snaps, and he works with the quarterbacks when they have their little quarterback school warm-up before the practice starts. So I would think he would be the logical choice. And by the way, when McCarthy mentioned the offensive line, and I don't know if he meant to let this slip out or not, but he said, yeah, because on the offensive line we'll have 8 or 9 guys, and he threw 9 in there. Normally, if you keep those 2 extra offensive linemen and keep 8 active, you get 48 on your roster. He mentioned 9 offensive linemen, so that means somebody else would be coming off the field, but maybe that's how much concern they have at those tackle positions along with backup center.
And by the way, we just got 4 minutes left in the show, but if any thoughts about Ronald Leary, who came in for a visit last month, possibly being an option as a guard? Well, you can forget about that. The reports now are that Ronald Leary has decided to retire from football. That is breaking on Twitter right now.
And so there's probably a good reason, Bill, why they didn't sign him, right?
That's right. Just like Jared Veld here, who is another veteran guy that they had in.
Bring back Doug Free. Bring back Doug Free. Bring back Doug Free.
Maybe they can make a swap and get Colombo back over here.
Yeah, there you go.
All right, let's make our picks. Our picks to click on Sunday at 3:25. The game being called by Jim Nantz and Tony Romo on CBS. All right, Everson, you want to go first?
All right, my pick to click. Of course, I'm going with the Cowboys to win, as I do every week. I'm going to announce that every week as well. I'm looking at a 28-13 win by the Cowboys. I think the Cowboys offense, you won't be looking for the big numbers, but they won't need them. Running game is going to go well. But the passing game will be anchored by CeeDee Lamb. CeeDee Lamb is going to take this Texas OU spirit
there you go.
into the next day. He'll have a Texas OU hangover, but he's going to be our guy. They don't have anyone that can guard him in the Giants secondary, especially guarding the slot receiver. They're going to be using all their best cornerbacks up on our 2 outside receivers. CeeDee Lamb is going to feast on the inside.
And any Texas fan knows that this weekend, a year ago, CeeDee Lamb is the reason OU won over Texas last year. He was the reason also Jalen Hurts was in the Heisman contention last year. A remarkable game this week. That's a great pick. I'll give him 3 touchdowns this week, just like he had against Texas last year. How about you, Mickey?
I'm next.
Yep, you go, Mickey.
So I saw that this game had a 9-point spread. The Cowboys were favored by 9, and I told someone I wouldn't bet that spread and take the Cowboys with your money, okay? So, although that probably means the Giants have to score 10 points, I got the Cowboys 26-20. I think the Giants will finally break through and score a touchdown or 2. And my pick to click, just because of how I think maybe conservatively the Cowboys are going to have to play, and I would imagine he comes back with a vengeance in this game. One, Ezekiel Elliott. They're going to have to lean on him in this game to help out that offensive line, using 2 tight ends, maybe using a tight end as an H-back, like a fullback. So let's go with Zeke, and all he's got to do is hang on to the ball.
Mm-hmm.
I like that. All right, and I'm going with, last week the Giants were trailing the Rams 10-9 with 5 minutes left of the game. They wound up losing 17-9. How'd the Cowboys do against the Rams out there? It was a 20-17 game. I'm going a closer game than I don't know. Maybe people do think it's going to be a closer game, but I'm going 24-23. Cowboys win by 1 point. And you know who's going to be the star of the game for the Cowboys?
Greg the Leg.
Xavier Woods. He's going to get to talk to the media again. And he's going to talk about what great effort the team gave in coming
100% of the time.
That's exactly right. There you go. That's my pick to click.
24-23 doesn't sound like a lot of confidence in the Cowboys.
All right. That does it, and I'll go ahead and pick Texas to beat OU also. Will you pick Missouri to beat LSU?
Whoa! Wait a minute!
and Bill,
did you say you're picking Texas?
Bill, the answer to that will go back to what I said about betting on the Cowboys. I wouldn't bet on Missouri with your money.
All right, that does it. And Grambling will beat Prairie View in the spring.
In April, I promise you. In April, we'll be there when the flowers bloom.
And the flowers bloom, and we have the great State Fair of Texas in April. All right, that does it for Mick Shots. We'll see you again on Monday at 1:30.
This has been a production of DallasCowboys.com and the Dallas Cowboys Football Club.
How about this, Cowboys? Yeah!